Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lock Shop. Nielsen and Huss back with you, and no football to discuss for the first time on a Friday show in like 7 months, because 8 months, CFL, NFL, it was great. We've got a couple months here where we got hockey and NBA and baseball and a little bit of Olympics still, Huss, but we are not having football today, buddy. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I've been saying that, that Monday after the Super Bowl for me is rock bottom of the year and has nothing to do with it being Valentine's Day. Although for many people that may have even added salt into the wounds. But I got to tell you, it just all came down. The game was awesome. And we talked about this on Tuesday, the wrap of the season. But I managed to blow a tire. It was minus 27 or whatever it is. We had an extreme cold warning through the week, which just transitioned into a blizzard warning here, Dustin. So, I mean, I don't know. At some point you just sort of laugh. At least I'm not getting arrested in Ottawa right now. So
that could be worse. Could be worse. You're right, for sure.
Could be in worse places right now. That being said, I think for both of us, and we talked about this a little bit on your program today when I jumped on with you and LTE, for the Jets coming out of the break, 4-1-1, they absolutely needed to get off to a great start. Kind of weird that the one regulation loss was a home loss to the Blackhawks, probably the weakest team of the teams that they played so far. But they've done what they needed to do to sort of start that positive momentum. And as far as the Oilers, and we'll get to this Oilers-Jets game tomorrow, a little bit later on after we do Friday picks. I mean, the up and down nature of this Oilers season has been unbelievable, and no better place to talk about it than on your program. I mean, first place earlier in the year, blow out everyone, fire everyone, potentially trade guys. I mean, it's over. And now on a run again, 9-2-1 with a new head coach. And who could have imagined that we'd be talking about this game when these two teams played in November? They'd be getting at it on a delayed game, which was supposed to be the 16th of January, but 3 months later, and it's Dave Lowry and Jay Woodcroft as the head coaches for these two teams. Everything's bizarre this year, but especially the campaign so far for the Oilers and the Jets.
We've got somebody on our live stream, Tumits. He says, USFL, April 16th, boys. USFL, April 16th. We can bet some football again.
Well, you know what? I'm right here to tell you, I miss the XFL. The XFL normally would start right now. And if you think back to 2020, the XFL season got started. They were about 5 or 6 weeks in, and then the pandemic started. Everything had to stop, and that essentially killed the XFL as we know it at that time. And they're planning, I guess, to start again next year, I think. We'll have to get The Rock on the program, and he can maybe update us on XFL plans. But yeah, the bottom line is no football for a little while. But you know what? We can get into some more NBA after All-Star Weekend this week. Raptors having a real exciting season. And we're getting to the good stuff in the National Hockey League as well. So, between golf, tennis, a bunch of other things, it might not be football, but there's still plenty of things to sprinkle on a little bit.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it would be great. We'll have to reach out to the Rocks people and just say, hey, we got a little sports betting podcast up in Canada. Love if you'd like to come on and give us all the details on the XFL. That'd be great. Thanks.
Little XFL update, Dwayne, whenever you have a minute.
Just let us know. You can stream it live on your Instagram. We can all benefit from it. All right, NHL, Huss, we got lots to get to. Like you said, we'll get into the Oilers and Jets a little bit later on, probably maybe after when Chris Abbott's going to join us, because we got our partner parlay we'll get to as well. We'll wrap up the episode with some Oilers and Jets talk. Light schedule. I mean, most Friday nights are in the National Hockey League, but light schedule, but still quite a few things that I liked on the card tonight. So where are you going? What are you looking at?
Well, you know what? Let's go. I'm going to get 3 picks. I actually don't mind a total in that last game. But starting it off with the Preds and the Hurricanes, and maybe this is my Jets bias showing right now, but the Jets had a big win in Nashville, dropped we're down 2-0 Saturday night, 10 minutes in, second end of back-to-backs. and completely flipped that game. Really took it to Nashville, scored 5 unanswered, won the game. Blake Wheeler had 5 points. And you look at Nashville right now, and I realize that the All-Star break's in the middle of it, but they're 4-5-1 in their last 10. They lost 3 games in a row. And now they're going in to take on the Carolina Hurricanes, who I think we'd all agree are one of the elite teams right now in the National Hockey League. And, they're just out of first place in the division, but they got 4 games in hand. And they're coming off a couple consecutive losses to the Wild and Panthers. So I absolutely expect the Carolina Hurricanes to get back in. I put it in on the money line. I think you could make an argument that you're going to go with the regulation to do that. But was kind of thinking about putting these teams into a parlay. So we'll just go safe. We'll go with the money line with the Carolina Hurricanes at home to the Nashville Predators. Florida at Minnesota is an interesting game. The Jets, Florida, basically Minnesota has done nothing but win over the past month, with the exception of last week and 2 days ago in Winnipeg against the Winnipeg Jets. I have a feeling that this team is, in an ornery mood coming back from that loss to the Winnipeg Jets. They'll be back on home ice, and they get to take on a Florida Panthers team that has been, really in a lot of ways the class of, the East right now, along with Tampa and a couple of other super elite teams. They lost to the Rangers earlier this week. Then they beat the Hurricanes, and now they go in to play the Minnesota Wild. I just think this is a big bounce back game for Minnesota. They have been so good this season. You're getting plus money on them as a home underdog. So I'm going to ride with the Wild. And then the Dallas Stars have impressed me. Now, the Dallas Stars are the team that you would think by looking at the standings, the Jets have to catch the most. I mean, the Jets are 6th right now, and you can't even consider getting the second wild card unless you can get into 5th spot, because I think it's quite likely that both wild cards will come out of the Central Division. Dallas ended up beating the Jets last week in overtime, and then went in and beat the Colorado Avalanche on the road earlier this week in regulation. So Dallas is a real streaky team. I mean, we've seen them lose 7 in a row earlier this season, but they're playing some good hockey right now, getting some goaltending. And some of the guys that, frankly, hadn't been scoring, like Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, have sort of woken up. So I think they go into Chicago, beat the Blackhawks, who are in next year territory, a minus 154. I love that number. I figured it might be closer to maybe the 170 that we're talking about with Carolina, albeit on the road. So Dallas at minus 154. Kind of put those together if you want to parlay them at plus 427, although we will have a partner parlay with Chris, another option involving one of my picks. And then outside of the parlay, I think I'm going to tag the over on the Vegas LA game tonight. Kind of a quiet debut for Jack Eichel. They got shut out on Wednesday. I don't expect that to happen again. So I'm going to take the over in the Vegas LA game, and that's just about even money at minus 103.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those, when there's only 4 games on the schedule, we're going to be in a lot of same games, but some different plays. Maybe we'll get into this a little bit with Chris Abbott, but I love betting regulation. Like, the overtime doesn't scare me. I looked at it. I just went back while you were giving me your picks, because I was just like, man, I'm always on these teams in regulation, because I love the value on it. Like, I love everything you just said about Dallas. I know they're kind of turning the net over to Jake Ottinger a little bit, who's a stud. I saw an article this morning saying, Dallas deciding to start to roll with this, and Brayden Holtby's totally fine with it. I think he's an excellent goaltender, so that's another reason. He's not, I just checked on Daily Faceoff. He's not confirmed yet, at least on there, but I would think they go with him tonight. So I like that at plus 107. I just went back in the last 35 games in the National Hockey League, 5 of them went to overtime or a shootout. So, I mean, we're looking at pretty small percentage, at least over the last 5 or 6 days in the National Hockey League. So a lot of games have been ending in regulation, more so than you probably think. So that's why I love going regulation as opposed to money line. I just think there's way much more value there. And if I really believe in a team, I think they can beat them in 60 as opposed to needing that extra 5 minutes in overtime. So Dallas in regulation plus 107 at Chicago. I'm going to go Florida, Minnesota. A little hesitant on Florida in this spot. You laid out the reasons for Minnesota. Both these two teams are very good at home, both Minnesota and Florida. Minnesota at home in this one. I'm going to go the over 6.5. I think Minnesota, and I may have read it wrong, but I'm pretty sure they've scored 18 goals in their last 3 home games. Like, they've been scoring goals in bunches at home as well. So I'm going to take the over there at minus 135. And then I'm going to go Carolina in regulation again against Nashville at minus 105. And when you parlay them, they're all at a number that I will play individually tonight as well. Plus 107, minus 135, minus 105. I've been a bet builder fiend lately. I can't get away from bet builders, so I'll probably be in on that as well. But it all parlays out to plus 604 on 3 games that I really like. So when I pumped that in today, I threw $50 on it. It pays over 300 coming back. So I'm pretty happy about how those numbers came together. But Huss, regulation, puck line, money line, like, do you have a preference when you're betting hockey?
Well, you know what? I'll usually go with the money line. And I think just for obvious reasons, I mean, you keep just, especially when I'm putting it in on parlays. I mean, the last thing you want is, and I mean, Chris will be able to tell you about this. I know he was on the Rangers in regulation earlier this week. I was on the Rangers from Tuesday's show. I had them on the money line and had to sweat out an epic 9-round shootout. By the way, Shesterkin is the truth. Oh my God, is he good? I hadn't seen a lot of him. He is unbelievable. Keandre Miller's winner in the 9th round was an absolute beauty as well. But you know what? Sometimes it's a little better safe than sorry. Although, point, Dusty, I mean, I think you just have to play the situation that this team is going to do it. And I mean, heck, we play enough puck lines. So I mean, the regulation bet is sort of just, splitting the difference between the puck line and a money line bet. I'm thinking that it's going to happen in. So I think there's definitely an argument to be made that, there's a lot of time that provides the best value for you. But in this case, with a couple of these teams, especially with like Dallas on the road, you never know how those games go. So I probably skew more towards the money line, but I'm certainly not afraid of making a regulation bet or a puck line bet. And by the way, shout out to you. You mentioned the bet builders. I know you've had some real good ones this week. We did our hockey picks on Tuesday. You hit all 3, hit your parlay. And the crazy thing is, and this is maybe why I'm so high on Dallas, because Dallas was the team that prevented us from going a perfect 6 for 6 on Tuesday. They went in and shocked the Avalanche, beating them in Colorado. So, I mean, let's hopefully keep it going. And
we were 5 for 6, still ain't bad, buddy.
No, you know what? We can keep going 5 or 6. Lock shop peeps will be happy.
We'll definitely take that. All right, let's get into our partner parlay. Then we'll bring in Chris Abbott. 2 games that we already talked about. I'm going to go with Dallas. I mentioned I'm on them in regulation in my bet earlier, and that bigger parlay, I'm going to go with them money line in this spot into this parlay at minus 154, mostly because I know we're getting it boosted anyway, so we're going to get that value previously like we had. So Dallas money line played a little bit safer here, minus 154 tonight.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I mean, I'm going to grab him again. We've only got 4 games, so I'm going to go with Carolina. I'm kind of rolled out where Nashville is right now, and certainly Carolina. Still, I mean, all of a sudden they've dropped out of first place. They do have games in hand in Pittsburgh, but they got to make the most of them. I think they get back on track at home against the Predators tonight at minus 172. And again, like you, let's take the money line. Uncle Chris is going to give us a little boost, so hopefully we can just get the W and cash a ticket.
If you're watching on the live stream right now, first of all, subscribe to the podcast, search The Lock Shop on all your podcasting platforms. There are not many doing what we're doing right now in the country, so make sure you give us a follow there. And on top of it, watch for the boosted odds partner parlay coming up a little bit later on Mike. It might already be up. We'll talk with Chris Abbott about that. Abbott's going to a player prop, which I love. I love this play. In fact, I acquired Anze Kopetar at the trade deadline in one of my fantasy leagues yesterday. So I sure hope he gets a point tonight. We're going to bring in Chris Abbott. I think we might have just lost Chris Abbott. Now he's back. There he goes. Chris Abbott, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Dusty. It's been kind of like cutting in and out for me as I've been waiting too. So I don't know if you're going to lose me. It like goes away for a few seconds and comes back. So we'll see what happens. But
did you clean off your counter or did you redo your backsplash?
No, he just drank everything that was on the table.
No, it's just out of the camera over there. It's still there. Now I did drink a lot this weekend, and that actually carried into last night. I last minute bought tickets to the Leafs and Penguins. Glad I did. It was a good hockey game, and got back drinking the $15 beers at the Scotiabank Arena. It was a great night.
Hey, what was the a lot of talk about crowds that we've been coming back. I know we had a real light one. It was a 6:00 game against Minnesota on Wednesday. Much better crowd last night, and we've just gone back to 100% this week. So for the first 2 games, what was it like in Toronto there last night?
So last night was the first night in Ontario that the teams could open up at 50.
Oh, we lost him.
Lost him. Last night was the first night that they opened. There he is. Chris, you're back.
Yeah.
50%.
Yeah. So there was not 50% in the building last night. There was maybe 30 to 40%. I was speaking with the bartender as I ought to do. And he was telling me that for the first time in all the years he's worked there, they were contacting the employees with free tickets to a Toronto Maple Leafs game saying, hey, if you got anyone that you want. And they framed it as in, it's been really hard for the pandemic. There was unsold tickets. You could buy tickets on ticket. You could have walked up to the box office last night and got tickets, but they were trying to paper the place like a WWE event back in the day. They were trying to make sure that the gate was there. So, and it wasn't. It was cavernous inside there last night. And it was really surprising to me. Now, there was a Toronto snowstorm last night. I probably had 15 centimeters and no wind, but it might have kept some people off.
Lost him again. He'll be
What's
back.
up with this connection?
He'll be back. Huss, you reconnect too. You're a little bit delayed right now to me. But you reconnect. Huss, Chris, you reconnect too. I'm going to sit here awkwardly for 2 minutes while you guys reconnect. And I'll just remind everybody, if you're watching The Lock Shop right now, obviously subscribe to the podcast. Just search The Lock Shop, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts. On Apple Podcasts, if you want to hop on and give us a 5-star rating, that's what we've got right now. That would be great. And if you want to sign up for an account at CoolBet, go to coolbet.com, enter the bonus code LOCKSHOP, all one word, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Perfect timing. Perfect. Laid it all out. Huss popped back up. That was smooth. Hey, Kopetar. Let's go there, Chris. Kopetar. Do you like him tonight?
There's some players in this league that I guess we've forgotten about. But honestly, Kopetar is like one of the best players of all time. So for him, he gets plenty of opportunity for him to get a point at -161 in what I think will probably be a decently high-scoring affair. Vegas has got goaltending issues right now, although they played a 2-0 game against Colorado the other night. I'm a big Kopetar guy. And to be completely transparent, there was only 4 games.
Yeah.
We already have the boosted Wake and Rake for JD and the Fan Morning Show. So we were headed dangerously down the same path. So I had to do something different.
It is tough with 4 games. Although I don't mind I love player props, especially mixing them into those bet builders. I don't mind even doing, especially with the slow football season, Huss, I don't mind a full-blown NHL player prop parlay too at some point.
No, you know what? It's a really fun way. Sometimes, you're getting on, you don't have a big lean on some of the games, and you can just go in and, grab a few props. And, at some point, there's guys that just stand out. Like Tuesday, I don't know whether we talked about this on the Lock Shop or on the show, but like Sidney Crosby at $4.99 going up against the Flyers with the potential of getting 500. I rarely put a bigger bet on a player prop, like on a single. Well, Tuesday was that night, and shout out to Sid. He got it in the first 10 minutes of the game. So I like it. And you know what, Chris, to your point about this game tonight, I do think that we're going to see some goals. I don't think Vegas is getting shut out again tonight. I'm actually on the over for this game. So, Kopetar still offensive catalyst for the Los Angeles Kings. Tons of ice time, tons of opportunity. We need to get him a point. I like it.
Yeah, no, I like it as well, and nothing screams Vegas like that look that Anze Kopitar rocks. Like he looks like a guy.
You know what's happening with Chris? You know what's happening with his internet right now? He's going to Vegas, I think, right away, and it's his internet being like, "Get out of here, dude! Go to Vegas." When are you supposed to be leaving, Chris?
Wednesday.
Okay, see,
Chicago, the band, Wednesday night. New York, Thursday.
Piano
Metallica Friday, Avs Golden Knights rematch on the Saturday, back here Sunday. So yeah, jam-packed trip. And
Metallica at T-Mobile?
Allegiant.
Whoa, the stadium?
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah. To get ready for it, I've actually been watching that Edmonton show from a couple of years ago that they live streamed. I've been watching that show over and over.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be
good. Are you going to gamble on anything when you're down there?
Oh, no.
Sounds like you're too busy.
No. I gamble. No, what kind of show
What are you talking about?
Yes,
it's not gambling when you win all the time.
Of course I'm going to gamble. I have to walk through a casino.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna have a great time, but he's gonna be devastated because he's gonna lose so much money down there once again. So.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Is that your last trip for a while, Chris? Or are you back down to Vegas again, like for Easter?
No, allegedly my last trip. Nothing booked.
Okay.
I'm thinking about April or May. I think we should all go.
Yes. Lock shop. You know what? That's about time. We've got a great football season. We pick a weekend, a time that works for all of us. Get down there. Heck, I go down there for a few times. That's the beauty of the being in the digital world. Give me a plug-in internet and a power source, and we can rock the Lock Shop and Winnipeg Sports Talk from anywhere. So you guys let me know when you're available, and I'm in.
I have to go. Hey, Tam, I'm just gonna run to the grocery store. See you Sunday.
Yeah.
Huge line. You'll never believe it.
You know what? Hey, you know what? The Lock Shop, Cool Bet, that's a big part of the Nielsen Media Entertainment empire.
Yeah, there we go.
Just say, listen, I don't know. Hopefully she's not watching this episode of the Lock Shop as we concoct this plan. You need to say, hey, there's a couple big things. Maybe add in. You can take some liberties with the truth. We need to meet one of the Cool Bet big wigs. Well, it's Chris.
That's true. It's Chris.
That's the case, We're going to get together and make it happen.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I like that.
Business trip, team building. Listen, you can write it all off. It'll be fantastic.
It's going to happen at some point. We know that for sure. Chris, so next week, are you going to be able to join us on Friday? Or should we get Patty or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll carve it
Can't
out.
wait to see you 2 days into a Vegas trip. That's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Always my favorite Abbott appearances on the Lock Shop by far.
All right, Chris.
All right,
safe travels, buddy. And we will talk to you later, man.
Have a good weekend, dude.
Okay, cheers.
There you go. That is Chris Abbott from Coolbet Canada. He's taking up a residency in Vegas, essentially. That's he'll join us from there next week.
I'd like to do that as well. And as I said, it'd be fun to go do the show there for a couple days, hang out, see the gang, maybe hook up with my old buddy Gary Lawless. Hey, just before we get into this,
right, he's down there too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, throw the partner parlay back up there because I know in and out we're doing it. So
where are we? Here we are, parlay. Got it. Yeah.
We got Dallas money line, Carolina money line, and an Anze Kopetar point over half a point. Put that together. I think the actual odds on this was plus 324, and we got to boost it up to 4-1. So love the number. I think great value on it. Appreciate Chris, sprinkling a little bit from the tickle trunk to get it up to 4-1, and that will be up on the left margin of coolbet.com. Click not boosted odds. A little further down, boosted odds parlays. It's very confusing. Even certain Lock Shop members sometimes have a hard time finding it.
I'm texting these guys. I'm like, I can't find the partner parlay. And I literally screen cap my screen, the whole video of all the boosted odds. And they're like, no, you got to click on boosted odds parlays. I was like, damn it. And there it was. So, yeah, make sure you find it. It'll be on the left side. And this is a great number. Basically, you need Kopetar to have a point in a game that we all agree is going to be a 5, 6, 7 goal game. And then a couple of money line favorites. So I like it a lot.
It's already up there right now. Plus 400, and let's see what the rake and rake is. What do they have here? They're familiar with us. That's where JD and the guys on 590 that Chris jumps on. Stars money line and Canes money line. They've also got Knights money line and over 5.5 in the Stars Blackhawks game. Plus 725. Don't mind that as well.
Big number too.
Hey, if you want some good value on a couple parlays that are already done for you, Coolbet's boosting them up. So hit the boosted odds parlays in the margin over at coolbet.com.
Let's stick with hockey, and then we'll get to a couple of your Olympic plays right before we wrap up. But Oilers and Jets on Saturday, very interesting game. The Jets have scored, 11 in their last two, a couple of wins. They're coming from behind in a 2-0 game for a win. The Oilers have won 4 in a row. They're getting a ton of even strength scoring, which they haven't had in a long time. They were down 2-0, came back and scored 7 against the Ducks. I know it's an afternoon affair, which is a little bit of a buzzkill sometimes, but I'm really looking forward to this game. I think we might get some offensive fireworks. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is going to be a very entertaining game between these two clubs.
Well, listen, the Jets have been scoring goals. I mean, Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler have woken up big time. I mean, Wheeler had a 5-point game on Saturday and a 4-point game on Wednesday, a 2-point game. He literally has 11 points in his last 5 days or 6 days right now. He's playing some spirited hockey right now, leading the club. And Mark Scheifele scored in 5 straight out of the break. And Kyle Connor and Pierre-Luc Dubois continue to get it done on the other line. Not a ton of depth scoring right now for Winnipeg, but the big boys are getting it done. But they're going to need to be ready. The Oilers bring out the best in the Jets. I think they really appreciate the opportunity to go up against Connor McDavid, to go up against Leon Draisaitl. And we all remember with the sweep last year in the playoffs. And those 2 games, the home and home earlier this season, back, albeit with 2 different head coaches on the bench, 2 of the best games of this season so far for my money. So really looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see how different these teams look with the new bench bosses. But the bottom line is many of the players are the same, although it's always interesting when our old buddy Evander Kane comes back to Winnipeg. So we'll see what the welcoming party is like for Evander. But this should be good. I would imagine, Dusty, this game should probably be with the Jets being at home. I think, on a neutral site, the Oilers would be a favorite. But I have a feeling this is going to be probably relatively close to a pick'em. I mean, there's not a...
I've looked online, like... Coolbet doesn't have it up yet, but I looked at a place that has like some other lines from some other places right now. Mm-hmm. And it's looking like the Oilers are in the minus 120-ish range right now. And let's see, like here's one, Oilers minus 125, Winnipeg minus 105, and the total set at 6. So I don't know how much it'll move, but maybe it opens a Coolbet with the Oilers as a slight favorite, Huss, or...
Well, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe you'd have Oilers minus 115, Jets minus 105, in and around there.
Basically a pick 'em almost.
So here's what I'm saying. And by the way, Chris is gone, but I thanked him for, I didn't even need to send him an invoice for winning our playoff competition on the Lock Shop. But before I send you one, how about a straight up double or nothing bet on tomorrow's game? I get the Jets. You get the Oilers. Oilers win, there will be no invoice. Jets win, we're doubling it, and it's a hundo. What do you think?
I'm in. Of course I'm in. Come on, man. I'm in on anything. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come up with another bet that would cover the 100, even if they lose, that'll win from Coolbet, so I can just send you that money instead. So, I like it.
Depending on what the number is, I mean, if the Jets are plus money, you actually could do exactly that and cover it either way. Yeah, just fun to have a little action on this.
I like
a fun game tomorrow night. Yeah. And as I said, tomorrow will be a big slate of hockey, and we'll be watching a lot of hockey because Olympics just finishing up, no football, NBA All-Star. I'm not sure whether they'll have some odds for like the dunk contest or the 3-point contest. We'll be paying attention to that. Nothing up right now over at Coolbet that I saw. So,
right now, just Team Durant and Team LeBron, and a total set at 321. So I'm going to take the over on that one just for fun.
that will be a heck of a lot of fun. But hey, before we go, I do have a couple of Olympic picks to get to for the for tonight. First of all, men's hockey gold medal game. What a crazy shootout that was between the Swedes and ROC. Yeah, really hoping good. Sweden would have won and we would have had a Finland-Russia game. But, I was surprised. The line on this game is relatively close. I was thinking that the Russians might be a real heavy favorite, but in fact, Finland's got a lower number than the Russians. Bottom line is I'm going with a draw. I think we'll have some excitement in this one. It was 275 when I got in. It's gone down just a little bit to plus 270. But I'm going to jump on the draw in the Finland-Russia game. Like Sweden
is the
in
total
regulation.
4.5?
Yeah, the total's 4.5.
Yeah.
Like what? It just goes to show how lame this tournament has been when, the lines are 4.5. There hasn't been that many
I'm taking the under. Like it's a 2-1, 3-1 game. That's what happens.
You know what the crazy thing is? The under's minus 172. Like over 4.5 is plus 140.
Wow.
Just think about that.
Just a 3-2 game. That's all you need. 3-2. 2-2 to overtime. God.
That's all you need. So I'm going to jump on that. I like Sweden in regulation over the Slovaks in the bronze medal game at minus 147. And Olympic curling, congratulations to Brad Gushu. If you got them on the rock line this morning, that was close to even money. They came through with the 8-5 win. Pretty cool to see them bounce back after that heartbreaker against Sweden in the semifinal. But for the curling men, Great Britain minus 143 over Sweden. They've got the hammer. I think Bruce Mouat has been the best. Dick Nadine is right there. I mean, the difference between these teams is so tight. The hammer often, and Brad Gushue spoke about that. They really lamented not playing well enough in the round robin to have the hammer, and he thought that was the difference. I think it'll be the difference again at this level. I'm taking Great Britain at minus 143. And for a little upset, the darlings of the entire Olympics, the Japanese women's curling team. I don't know if you've seen much of them. They are the joy of sport comes out in these women. They are so fun and great to cheer for. They're going up against Eve Muirhead, who's a pretty significant favorite at minus 167. I don't care. I am riding with the land of the rising sun. Give me Japan plus 130 in the women's gold medal game. That is a 7 p.m. start tomorrow. So maybe we'll watch the Jets and Oilers, and then would have been great to know that Canada was in the gold medal game, but I think a lot of Canadians will be pulling for the Japanese. We all saw that amazing moment between the legend Jennifer Jones and the two members of the Japanese team, and they're a lot of fun to watch. So looking forward to hopefully a great end to the Olympic Games. And I'll be honest, I am way more excited for a women's curling game than I am for the men's hockey.
All right, coming up. Once again, thank you very much for subscribing to The Lock Shop. I'm going to have the oil stream with Tom Gazzola. I'll be streaming that in about an hour. You can find that on all your podcasting platforms. And, of course, Winnipeg Sports Talk. Huss, what do you got coming up today?
Well, we've got a big show. Joe Piscucci's going to join us. We'll talk a little Jets with him, but it's Black History Month, and Joe is like the great historian of Winnipeg sports. He was the sports director at Global for 32 years. He's got all sorts of old archive video footage. And Joe has been digging around, and I think he has discovered we've been thinking for a long time that Johnny Regan was the first Black Blue Bomber in 1947. Joe has unearthed a Black player that began in 1942 for the Bombers and played again in 1945. So he's going to tell us about the detective work that he's done on this story, as well as some old pictures and some old video that's going to be really cool. So check that out on YouTube.
Oh, that will be
Ken
cool.
Weave's going to join us. We'll have an extended Jets conversation. And then around 2:25 Winnipeg time, we'll have you jump on, and we'll kind of focus a little bit more on what's going on with the Jets and Oilers before we break out the marbles with the marble race to finish Friday's episode of Winnipeg Sports Talk.
That's awesome. I'll be on with Huss a little bit later on. We'll be back with another episode of The Lock Shop next Tuesday, talking some golf and some NHL action. NBA will be fired back up again. Maybe a few association bet builders for you. Always something to bet on with our friends over at Cool Bet. So sign up for an account today using the bonus code LOCKSHOP. Huss, I guess I'll talk to you in a couple hours, buddy. Have a great weekend.
You bet. Thanks for subscribing, everybody. Have a great weekend. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.